PDO 212, com check.
DPS, go. Inco, go. PUS, go. Surgeon, go. Booster, go. Copy that. We have a go from you guys.
This is Talking Sound.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Season 7 of Talking Sound. Chris Jordan here, your host. Thank you for everybody that's been tuning in for the last 7 years. This is really what begat my podcasting journey after coming off of broadcast and deciding that it was my turn to kind of reach down in my industry of AV and start lifting up the next people who would later become the next operators, you know? And that's what this show was about. Was like, how do you learn this stuff? How do you find this out? How do you get into this? Be it being a musician, learning guitar, learning video, learning direct film, learning to do stuff like this and do live feeds, do what I do in the corporate realm or in rock and roll. So that barrier of entry and the discovery of it is what really led me on this journey. And I want to thank all of y'all that have followed me for the last 7 years, who've been following the 3 weeks. Over the last 3 weeks, we've been putting out the live coverage that we did over CES 2021. That was super great. So thank you for everybody that's been tuning in this whole time. Before we get started with our guest today, by the way, is the amazing Will Leeyum. We will be talking to him about his show on Mixcloud. WillLeeyum.com is the website. That is where you can find everything. That is where you can see everything. Whenever we get back, we will be talking about the world of DJing music in the world of COVID and what that's like, what it takes to kind of really reach an audience these days, you know, and really kind of carve out your niche, because DJs are one of the biggest, I think, niche performers out there. Like, you think that it's just somebody spinning platters, spinning records, until you actually get to talking to DJs, and then they have so many like little subgenres and worlds that they live in and that they like shake fists at each other about and things like that. So we're going to be getting into that and how it has been impacted by the world of COVID, much like live production has, everything else, right after we get back from a message from our sponsors. We have been very, very happy to be working with True Hemp Science out of the Austin, Texas area. They are makers of some of the best CBD out there. I myself use CBD. It's a doctor's recommend for me for my anxiety, and I use their gummies. Their gummies are fantastic. Each one's 25 milligrams. But they have so many great products. It is a whole plant product, not something where it's just the leaves or just the buds of the hemp plant or just the stems. It's the whole plant, so you get a full spectrum of CBD and all of the benefits of it, terpene, everything. They are also use a full emulsification process and use Ayurvedic herbs in some of their stuff. This is one that I use that's an Ayurvedic herb mix, and it's wild. You can actually see the suspension of the emulsified herbs, but man, you throw that into some sweet tea or a little bit of water while you're out hiking, and it is fantastic. Stop on by their website today, folks. That is where buttons moved. That's where you can stop on by TrueHempScience.com. Use the code TALKING7 to save 7% off your entire purchase of $50 or more. Whenever you make a purchase there of $50 or more and use code TALKING7, you will also get 2 free 25-gram brownies or cookies, your choice. So you get 50 grams of edibles along with that and save 7% with the code TALKING7 whenever you stop on by TrueHempScience.com. While you are online checking that out, please do make sure to stop on by our sponsor website, Podcast Cadet. Here's a little message from them. Have you considered starting a podcast? Looking for a way to make your business a voice of authority in an industry? Then Podcast Cadet is the solution for you. Whether starting a podcast for yourself, your brand, business, school, church, or just plain fun, Podcast Cadet is here to help you navigate the waters of the podcast industry. Specializing in one-on-one consultation and training with industry professionals in fields ranging from podcast technology and editing to distribution, monetization, and even social media strategies. Podcast Cadet tailors their services to the specific needs of you and your podcast. Do you already have a podcast and trying to find ways to engage and grow your audience? Sign up for your Podcast Cadet audit today and let us help you explore new and exciting ways to leverage your content and elevate your podcast brand to whole new levels. From consultational workshops to affordable podcast production and maintenance packages, Podcast Cadet is your one-stop shop for everything podcast related on the internet. Visit podcastcadet.com today to sign up for your consultation or training and use code TALKING20 to save 20% off your entire purchase. That website again is podcastcadet.com. You want to be shameless like me? You want to learn to make commercials like that? Stop on by podcastcadet.com today. Seriously, folks, I am, full disclosure, I am one of the founders and owners of Podcast Cadet. And the whole reason that I came up with that concept was I had so many friends that were starting shows for their businesses, new people that were starting shows, things like that. And it was kind of that idea of why are you getting advice to have a successful band from a band that's not successful? So yeah, it was one of those, after years of working in broadcast, working in production, and seeing people get told which way to go, where it's like, man, I wish somebody would have directed you the proper way from the beginning. So I teamed up with folks that are in the branding world, all kinds of things, audio engineers, video engineers, as well as marketing folks, social media marketing folks, web designers, everything else, so that we can provide people the best advice from the ground up. Stop on by podcastcadet.com. Like I said, if you want to be shameless like me, stop on by today. Podcast Cadet is the website. And while you're on the website and checking everything out, please make sure to stop on by WillLeeyum.com. Our guest today, Will Leeyum. How are you today, Will? Welcome to the show.
I'm good, brother. It's good to see you.
Hey, you too, man.
I just saw you before the show, too.
Yeah, I know. Like, it was weird because, like, I was on Skype and you were on Skype, and then it was like we were on Skype together.
It's like the same thing.
It was creepy as hell, dude. Willie, if you can't tell, folks, I've known Will for a little while now. As a matter of fact, Will was one of the many people who actively came to Podcast Cadet for a little bit of help whenever you started to do your Waking Groove show, yeah?
Yeah, well, shout out to Big Mike on that one.
Yeah.
From College of Hip Hop Knowledge. Big Mike put me in touch with you, and then the rest was history. You know,
yeah.
I don't mince words, so me and you got right to it, clear, and we just jumped right in.
Yeah, no, it really was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to do it in about 2 weeks. We just made it happen. It was fantastic. And once again, yeah, shout out to Big Mike with College of Hip Hop Knowledge, because it really is, in this industry, when it comes to audio, video, what have you, it's networking, man. It's who you know that can get things done that you can't get done. And
you know what? I don't know if it might have been Jay Sun.
Could
It
have
might have been
been.
Jay's son.
Could have been.
It could have been both of them. Shout out to Hip Hop Knowledge anyway.
absolutely.
I can't even, that whole crew over there, man, they're constantly leveling up and moving forward. So shout out to them.
Yeah, they are a bunch of local hustlers. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love seeing
They're getting it
artists that, because I mean, after working in rock and roll for years, and even now working in the corporate world, whenever I see engineers, sometimes it's one of those, like, whenever I saw musicians on my stage that just had an incredible potential, but did not put that, like, that follow through behind the punch, where it was like, man, if you just put the promotion behind this that you should do,
Yeah.
and they are out there doing that, and you're somebody that does the same thing, and that's one reason why I wanted to have you on the show, was to talk about building an audience in the time of COVID, because you didn't have a show before COVID started.
Hasn't even been a year.
Yeah. And your show has grown to amazing places over on Mixcloud. You have a great audience regularly over there. So let's
Shout out to the Waking Groovers, every one of you. Cindy, Mama G,
exactly.
Trizzle, Roy. I can go on and on though. I'm sorry. Junelle, I don't want to miss anyone's name. Much love. All of you.
Well, and it for me, it's just the fact of,
Shout out to producer Shay too.
see, yes,
Sorry.
well, no, since Shay has come on, things have picked up in a great way for you, man.
Yeah. I was gonna wait to have I was gonna explain that part of it later, but shout out to producer Shay too.
Well, no, we'll definitely get into that, because it's one of those, like, even with podcasting, you can handle all those facets on the gym, but do you know how to handle them to the utmost, or would it be best for you to dish one off and focus on one that you're really good at? Let's kind of start at the beginning, man. What brought you into the world of DJing, period, to begin with? Because like I said at the beginning of the show, DJing to me specifically, and working with so many DJs as long as I had on my stages, it's just there's a different attitude when it comes to DJing as to what you're doing with music and how you're moving people. So let's get into that a little bit. What brought you into the world of DJing at all?
Well, if you look on there, it doesn't say DJ. Because I've never considered myself a DJ. Yes, I can spin. Yes, I can mix. And there's other DJs out there who are turntablists, so they can cut and scratch. There's producers out there who sample from records and know, and chop things up. And there's a whole community of turntablists and DJs and mobile DJs. Shout out to Alvin, Unlimited Sounds out in San Jose. That man right there. I've known him since high school. He's still DJing as a mobile DJ. So there's the wedding DJ, the guy who, or whatever. I can get off on that whole DJ thing.
Absolutely.
For me, I've always had equipment because I have vinyl, and that's what you see on the wall here. I have vinyl. You know me. I have vinyl out in my living room too. So I can't fit it in here without having no room for myself. But I've always had vinyl. So I've had turntables, and then I got this controller right here behind me. And that changed things for me because I was now working with MP3s and stuff. But I never considered myself a DJ. I'd made beats before. I've worked in distribution and management and all these different facets of it for me. I just always dibbled and dabbled in hip hop since day one, So being what you would call a DJ, I just always had that. I've carried crates before. I've DJ'd at parties back in the day. Just never called myself a DJ, I guess.
Yeah.
Long story short.
well, no, absolutely, and that's something to be considered because I mean, like I said, the purpose of this show is building an audience, and right now,
and I'm not pushing back. I'm not pushing back on that. I'm just saying,
not. I say DJ because that on
that's
your
what I'm doing.
show, that's what you're actively doing is DJing.
Right? No, I can't deny that.
But
I'm not telling you I'm shoveling dirt or something and then I'm DJing. It's like I really am DJing.
And I mean I consider your show almost the equivalent of a podcast, mainly because like there is a lot of personal talk and talk with and amongst the audience that happens. So there's a lot of interaction between you and the audience during your show.
Yeah.
And it's really fantastic to see that, because as opposed to a lot of DJs, especially on Mixcloud, even myself on Mixcloud is no disassemble. I don't necessarily do that. I've got visuals going with my music, and my idea is just to promote my music and what I'm doing. So I put on a listening party, you know?
Yeah.
But yours is a listening experience and experiencing music with your audience. And I think that a lot of that comes down to, your past experience in promotion and kind of seeing events from the sideline.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and not to mention promoting parties too. Just getting the word out there and reaching your demographic quickly and effectively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like anything new that comes in off of any promotion I do from the show, it still boils down to my show. So whenever people get on, that's the core listeners that are growing over the year. There's people who click on it and maybe don't support me, but don't always catch the show. Or there's the later listeners. But I'm speaking to all of them when I do my show, I guess.
Well, and what was it that brought you to start creating the show Wake and Groove to begin with, which is what really kind of started it all? You've got Wake and Groove, you've got the Saturday Night Selector, all kinds of stuff. But what was it that brought you to the point of creating that show?
Yeah, so this is the real origins of the show. So my mother and sister passed away in 2016, and I was just super devastated. Like I can't even, everybody goes through loss. I'm not trying to, whatever, and everyone heals differently. But for me, it's really been a struggle. So, excuse me. So when the pandemic happened, I'd been struggling to find something to make me feel normal again, that new normal or whatever. And I still struggle with that. But one day I was, and I have no emotion. I was getting agoraphobic, didn't want to leave the house to do anything. And I had all this equipment when you met me, Chris. I had it, right? I mean, I was already, we didn't have to buy really much anything except I think a video card or something is what we had to get. But other than that, most of the stuff was here. I just needed to configure it for this. But one day I was sitting on the couch. I don't know what day it was. It was my first show or whatever. But I jumped in here, and actually these were pre-shows. I was on Facebook. So this was when it first started. I jump on Facebook. I'd get 20 minutes. Sometimes I'd get 30 minutes. Sometimes I'd get 45 minutes. I even got up to an hour and 15 minutes before they started cutting DJs off. And a lot of people may or may not have followed DJs on Mixcloud, or still don't, or Facebook, or wherever people are getting on there and doing that. But there's a lot of copyright shit going on, so a lot of licensing, and I ended up migrating over to Mixcloud. But long story short, one day I was sitting on the couch, and I kind of felt, compelled. I felt, my mom's spirit kind of lift me off the couch, literally. And I came in here and I just started DJing. Migrated over to Mixcloud after a while because Mixcloud covered the licensing, or claimed they can. So that frees me of anything, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. Yeah. Right or wrong, I'm getting it in every day except Sunday. So I'm still doing it, and there's no cutting my shows off. I've been able to, kind of let the show grow, and it grows through the people that are on the show. I remember when I first started, it was just a handful of us, and I didn't really have a format or anything. And I was trying to always, I was just trying to be in there. It was my therapy. I was just trying to be in there, spinning good music that I wanted to hear. And it was always in the morning for the most part. Yeah, once the show started, it was in the morning. That's when I decided I was going to have a show. I think that's the coffee and monkey business. If you go to my Mixcloud page and scroll down on like shows all the way to the bottom, you'll see a picture of a monkey and some coffee or something. It's actually on Mixcloud. If you're looking at that right now, I see. Go to my profile if you can. There it is, my profile. Yeah, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom. It's a long scroll. While he's doing that, you can see the graphics change as you go, but you'll see a monkey down there. So I did coffee and monkey business. So every morning I would get up because I felt motivated to be with people, and I couldn't leave my house for two reasons. One, I felt agoraphobic, and two, I was told I couldn't because of the lockdown. You really don't want to go out and mingle, and I was fine with that. I was like, I'm already agoraphobic, and you're telling me to stay home. Now it's cool to be home.
Yeah.
If you understand what I mean. So I jumped on the internet, and I could now help other people in some way, and I didn't really look at it as like, I'm curing cancer here, helping people. I'm just spinning some records, you know what I mean, or spinning some tunes here, man. I'm not really. And I wasn't going like in the mix too hard. I was just kind of like, I'd go from Carpenters to Metallica, for example, and everything in between. But I just kept doing it, and then I think that's when me and you hooked up. Is when I started Wake and Groove. I was doing coffee and monkey business before that, but when you and I hooked up, that was me saying, okay, on this date I'm going to start, and I cut off my coffee and monkey business, and I started the Wake and Groove session. Yeah, you're almost there.
I know.
You're getting closer. You're getting down there. It's a lot of. There you go. Those are some of the coffee and monkey business episodes, and they're less structured, but you kind of less structured in that I now have points in my show where I stop and I talk about stuff, or I'll do this or that. We have a vote. We have an interactive mode on our show where. I do this thing on Thursday called Groover's Choice Thursday. During the week on Monday, I do like what I call an oldie show. It's basically anything from 79 down in the soul, funk, and R&B kind of a vibe, smoothed out, jazzy sort of a groove. We wake and then we groove. And then on Tuesday, which was today, I do 2 for Tuesday. So if you've ever listened to a radio in your life, you know what that is. I play 2 from every artist, and we have fun with that. But each day I give 3 genres. On Monday I give 3 genres. Then Tuesday comes and I give 3 genres. And we have a vote each day. So I'll give you 3 genres on Monday. You vote. Whichever one, we count the votes, the number, whatever. And then we roll into Tuesday. We do it again. And on Wednesday we take the top 3 from those 2 days, and we have one last vote. Whatever genre wins rolls into what's called a Groover's Choice Thursday. So the voting aspect has changed. I even got reached out to by Mixcloud specifically. I've had a couple Zoom meetings with them personally. They were very interested in what I was doing, and I'm not sure what they're doing. I don't really know, but I support Mixcloud's vision right now. Whether there's Twitch out there and a lot of other apps, but I'm a strong proponent of being in one place and staying right there, not being on 50 channels and confusing people. Yeah. Go to this page, and this is where you'll find me. That's it. It's a short sentence. I don't have to give you also this or this or this, because just if people will like what you're doing, they'll come to you. They'll download the app. They will. If they won't download an app to listen to you, then maybe they don't really want to listen to music, period, or something. I'm not saying me personally, but it's really just a community online what the show's become, and I've just grown it organically by being in there and being myself, being honest, being open about what's going on in my life, and how this is my therapy when I get in there. I absolutely I have a little message at the end. I tell people, spread love, and if you go outside, if you're feeling good from the show, is what I say, take that energy and pass it on to another person. A smile, a compliment, checking in on an old friend, things like that. And I try to just pass a good message on. We just spent 2 hours together listening to some funk or some rock or some soul. So they're already hyped up. I see it in the chat box. So I just want people to carry whatever energy we get from my show. And I say we, because they're giving me energy from my show. I want them to keep it going, like spread it, keep it going, keep it going out there in the world. So what this show has done for me, it is brought me out of a kind of I don't want to say dark, but just a gloomy that perspective, I really wanted happiness and all that, and I still do, and I want everybody to have happiness. But as long as we're spreading love, that is, and being kind to one another. But yeah, it's just healed me, man. I can't express it enough. I mean, I still got a long way to go. I lost my mom and my sister that month, and I lost my other sister the next year. So it's just people drop out. You get older. We don't all live forever. I'm not trying to, act like my experience isn't, is so much different than everybody else's. But my personal experience with the show, it has lifted me out of a gloomy kind of a place, in my view. And I'm a lot happier. I'm a lot more vibrant. People in the show have given me something, and I'm embracing it 100%.
Yeah, and that I don't think can be stated enough. So many times it's hard for an artist, period. And make no mistake, what you're doing is an art. The way that even if somebody is DJing a wedding, a good DJ, the way that they put music together,
A crowd mover.
Yeah. You motivate parties.
Yeah.
You motivate parties. That's what you do. And there is an art form to that. Even the promotion aspect of what you do, and the speed with, like you said, your show has been on that platform for about a year, and Mixcloud has been around for a little while. They've been around for a few years, and quite literally, for you to within a year have made enough of a splash on their platform going live, for them to contact you, that's fantastic.
It was it was out of the blue too. I was really I had so many expectations of the interview and shit, and it ended up just being really cool. The Mixcloud people were super chill, and they were listening to what I said, and I gave them honest feedback. They had some ideas that they bounced off me, which tells me that they're working on specific aspects of their site. Not to go off on what they were talking about doing, but they were seeing a need, and I was filling it my own way. Like, if you don't have it fixed, I'm going to use these emojis to vote with until you get it sorted, Not to diss them. I don't know what they have going on in the background, and I don't run a website that touches the globe, because I got listeners in almost every country.
Yeah.
Or continent, not every country.
Well, and that's what's been great, is to see you grow the website presence, to see you grow the show, to see you bring everything to the point of success within 1 year. Like I said, it is an art form to do such things, and to be able to reach an audience that fast, to be able to build an audience that fast, and not just be able to build an audience, but to be able to regularly engage them the way that you have. Prime example.
They're my family.
Shameless self-promotion time for Willie. Whenever you go to the shop over at his website, he launched his shop and had 50 purchases the first day. Oh yeah, I like that one, dude. That's nice.
Yeah, there's stickers of that in the bottom.
I'm getting that today.
Yeah. That's a reminder, right?
Absolutely. It's either
for the viewer or for the person holding the cup. Whatever works, man.
Yeah.
Spread love.
I used to make the joke years ago.
Hey, fanny packs, by the way. Don't forget your fanny packs.
That's awesome. That's class,
isn't
right
it
there.
though?
The number of socks you sold has been impressive.
That's my number one seller. Is the socks. I just switched up the colors too.
Get some Will Leeyum on your feet.
That's the thing, because there's folks up in there talking in the chat box. There's kind of this thing about socks, and it's a morning show for some of us, so there's breakfast foods like chorizo, and I like bacon, and they're kind of talking in there, and I eat my breakfast right here while I do my show. Because the whole show is not about me getting in here and showing you how awesome I can spin and to cut and scratch. I mean, if I'm in a position where I gotta like mix really, really best as I can, because I'm on stage or something, that's one thing. But my show allows me to have errors, mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm drinking my coffee. I'll stop a song right in the middle of it and talk for 2 minutes about something that's happened in the chat box, and we have a good time. It's 2 hours with family, is what it is. It's like those are my people.
Yeah, precisely. For you to see your audience that way, I think is exactly the way an artist is supposed to see their audience. And all too often, I think that artists get not necessarily get caught up in ego,
Yeah.
but I think that they get lost in the performance itself. You know,
I say to people sometimes, and I'll say it right now. It's a little bit of a selfish thing for me because it is truly my therapy to come in here and do this for people every day. It helps me. If the fact that it's helping other people while I'm getting myself sane for the day or whatever is just fucking awesome, dude. You know what I mean? Like because I'm in here for my own sanity. If suddenly there were no listeners, that would be weird. I want my listeners. I love them. But it's like I would come in here and I would feel empty because they weren't there. But I would want to be doing this, is what I'm saying. You know?
Yeah.
I would want to be doing this. So I'm here, for the same reason I felt lifted up to come in here. I felt what I felt when I said my mom lifted me off the couch. What I felt was like, go help. It was the pandemic. We were just starting to get told to wash your fucking hands every 5 minutes and wash it this way, and then you do this, and how to fucking everything masked up, and it was just it was kind of a weird time. Like I don't care how fucking cool and knowledgeable or how fucking deep state people are and how they view what the pandemic is. The world shifted at that moment. Everybody needed to wear masks, and people were fucking dying, and not to go off on, I'm not here for the numbers and all that fucking bullshit conversation. I'm talking about the fact that everybody's life just went womp,
Yeah.
Maybe it's some kind of a psyop. I don't fucking know. All I know is it happened, and everybody shifted. So when they shift,
No, I was good. Like the prime example, I was contacting a blogger the other day about a new album, things like that. And she was like, well, do you have any live shows coming up, things like that? And she lives here in Austin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't. Like I've got a live show that I do twice a week with my music, stuff like that. But there aren't really a lot of electronic music shows going on live in Austin right now. Right. She's like, oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. And I'm like, what? So have you been gone for the last year?
Yeah.
Cause I like for that to skip people's mind, and for you to be using this experience and your experience in this to bring people together.
Also, like, honestly, like when I say that's what I was saying was like the therapy for me is that I got to get up and give. I felt life was numb. It's kind of where I was at. You know what I mean? Like I was just kind of neutral, didn't need to go anywhere. As long as I had food and my television, I was good. Like, you know what I mean? And wasn't really into life, I guess. Sorry. And so the spirit of that how my mom was. She was really like sweet, a very giving person. She said, get up and get in there and give. And this was about all I had, if that makes sense. Like energy wise, or like if you needed me to like paint pictures for you, and I would have died in the first day. Like I gave up. Like I can't do that shit. This has always been home for me. So it was like riding a bike to come in here, no matter how defeated I felt, to come in here and help by just playing some good music with people. And they're like, oh, I love that song. And they're just listening, and then it grew into conversation, and then it grew into relationships. And then it grew into, we got each other's phone numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like we're fucking friends and shit now. Like it's like, it's amazing how people connect. I connected with people, you know what I mean? And then they mean the world to me. They really do. They're amazing human beings. And it's just, for me, this is what it's about. The passion of giving it. I'm giving something, Yes, I'm in here doing this for me, but it's to keep me fucking sane. But what's happening is I'm giving something in that process, and people are getting joy out of it. And that's all I could say. It's like for everything for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
humbled. I'm fucking humbled by it. Like
yeah.
mad humbled. Seriously.
It's great whenever you. It's nice when you get recognition. Not that it's necessary for you to create art, you know, but it's nice when you do get it, and it's nice when you absolutely, like you said, make that kind of connection with your audience.
Yeah.
To where, like prime example, your producer came
Yeah.
out of your audience.
Shout out to Crystal. I don't think I said anything to Crystal too. Crystal's in there. Shout out Crystal. Sorry.
So let's get into that for just a second, because I think it's important to kind of understand that part of the reason that you are able to build the audience that you're able to build is that there are certain tasks that you have delegated to somebody else.
Yes. So I was leveling up. How me and you kept calling it. Like I
Yeah.
changed something, and then I finally got this Stream Deck thing here. You know, before that I was just kind of clicking on buttons in the program OBS that I'm using for what I'm doing, and I kept wanting to level up, and I'd get ideas, and me and you would get some graphics, and we kind of work things out and tweak it, and I ended up getting Photoshop so I could do it myself, and all the little tweaks and stuff to get it going. And then it just became heavy. Not like I don't want to do this, but just I can't carry all this and give the best I can without getting burnt out faster. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Shay, producer Shay on the show, she kind of jumped in on these Saturday night selectors with me as a listener. I think after like the first couple, like I don't know whichever one she jumped on, like the second or third or something. She jumped
Yeah,
on,
it
and then she
wasn't
was
far
there.
after.
Yeah, and then she jumped on like every show, and then one day she came at me with an idea and said she had a whole bunch more, and something just clicked in my head. I said, if you got the shows ready, do you want to produce the show with me? And we were just talking about Saturday Night Selector, but she just kind of like took on the Wake and Groove because she was there every morning, and we communicate every day. And she does a fucking awesome job. Like seriously,
Yeah, she does.
And she has her own opinions of things, and that's how we should always view life. I feel like, you know, not everyone's the same and shit, like, but it's okay. You try to like hear each other out, but we're always coming from a creative angle. There's no personal edge. We just want to give the best. Look at me. Does this make it clear when I do this? She just wants to give. Now you understand. I see where he's going with this now.
I was lost for a second.
Until the hand movement, right?
Yes.
Okay. So she started helping with structuring the show, as in, points in the show where I have a little break, or a block of time where I talk or promote. We started consulting on which songs we're gonna go in on the Saturday Night Selector. Then we started getting the genres for the vote together. We launched together on the first of the year. 2021 is when me and her started. So right away, the first Saturday Night Selector was there. And that was when she was kind of like just there for the Wake and Groove anyway. And she adopted that. And she does a fucking amazing job on both shows, and we're leveling up as best we can. And the thing about the leveling up part, when I say that, it's not to be braggadocious. It's just when you say art, Chris, whatever I'm doing, however I structure these shows, and however more entertaining they become, and however more listeners I get because of those actions, I'm doing the leveling up for the listeners, the more listeners. Like, I'm trying to give the best show I can give. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of my ego and what I think I can do, it's like, okay, this is already a show I'm doing. How can I make this show more interesting? And I'm always brainstorming, and me and Shay are always brainstorming, but we move slowly because, as much as I do, you start moving shit around, it becomes a mess. So you want to keep your momentum, is something I would say to anybody who is jumping into this. Always keep leveling up and keep your momentum. Like, don't don't start hitting the brakes and thinking you should go this way now. Like if you've got some momentum and people are already listening, patience. They're going to keep coming. Promote it better. Promote it good. You know, keep people posted on what you're doing, you know?
Well, and I think that's an important thing because all too often, and this is something that we talked about and that we've talked about even with projects with other people that we've discussed possibly doing things like that, is the concept of ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
And the idea of a shotgun blast versus a laser.
Yeah.
You know, or white light versus a laser where, it's light, but it's scattered light. A laser is the exact same light, but all the waves are in sync, so it's much more intense and goes a whole lot further. And it really is that concept of don't launch something until it's ready. Test.
Yeah.
Consider your production value and care about your production value.
Yeah. Don't promote your tests either. That's the worst thing you can do. Because if you promote your tests and all your people come to see you and you're just on some fucking around bullshit, they're not gonna come back for the real show. Like get the show together and test, notify nobody. If you're gonna test it on people who don't know you. That's why Mixcloud is a great place. Because there's somebody sitting in a room somewhere who's flipping through Mixcloud channels and is gonna see you, and they're gonna give you a couple seconds. So it behooves you to have some shit together and always be on point during your show. It's not a wing it situation, you know?
No, absolutely not. Because I mean,
you can wing it, but winging it has to be your shtick. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you got to be informed about the topics. Like for instance, my Dudes and Beer show. All right. And I'll give away a dirty secret. Here's one of my secrets, Willie. This is what I have. This is my show prep right here. This is my show prep board. It's got like 6 little slots on it. It's not a lot. It's
hurting my head. It's so much stuff.
It's one of those like, look, it's got like the season and episode number, who I'm talking to, what we're going to talk about, what we're going to look at on screen, you know, things like that. Maybe a question or two that I definitely want to ask. But aside from that, it's an organic conversation about a topic that I'm pretty knowledgeable about.
Yeah, you are.
You know, like I'm an audio video engineer for a living, so yeah.
I'll say this, and you know,
it shouldn't be hard for me to talk about it.
This is how I would perfectly describe this portion of my experience. You've been with me since the beginning of what I'm doing. The tech side of this is it's a tricky beast. You need to have what you need to grow, or you're just going to start spending a lot of money over and over again. So it's good to have somebody who can assess what you need to do, and that's what Podcast Cadet does.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You get that done. So if you're even thinking about doing this, like, get your setup together. It's it's cool to be on your phone and pointing it at your DJ system, but or pointing it at yourself. But there's ways of doing things. There's ways of doing things, and if you aspire to do this, which by the way, I did not aspire to do this.
No,
one single bit. Zero aspirations of anything that's happening right now with the store and all that stuff. These are things that were highly pushed on me by people. They're like, I want a shirt, I want a mug, I want this. I want a hoodie, I want that, and it just happened. It happened because of patience and consistency, and having the right setup. And the setup that I have, having a soundboard and all the cameras and everything is one thing, but having it tuned in a way that I get a lot of compliments on my sound, bro. Like people say they tune into me, it's just like they're getting anything on a radio. It's coming in good, the bass, everything's working for them. And I think that's a definite nod to you, and that's something I've got since day one.
Thank you.
Definite.
Thank
you. You know your shit, dude, for real.
Well, it's like I said, I'm 45 and I've devoted the better half of my life to this craft. And I was having a discussion about, why objects are blurry in pictures with somebody. Hey, granted, it was a UFO discussion. Like, oh, why? How come you never see a clear picture of a UFO when somebody takes a takes a picture. And man, I started breaking down like the way lenses work, and whenever you're and one movement, accounts for that many times the size. Like anything that you would typically move 1 millimeter, if you're zoomed in 30 times, it's now going to move 30 millimeters. It's not rocket math. So, but
good, because I'm not good at rocket math.
But knowing all those things is literally a and the ease with which I know them is just a conglomeration of 20 years of rote wash, rinse, repeat. You know?
There is no failure.
No,
guys. There is no failure. If you're about something and you're passionate about it, you're gonna make it happen. It's amazing how when you if you just find your passion, whatever it is, and try different things. Try different things. Some of his podcasts, whatever a person's gonna give. Like mine, I'm DJing for 2 hours, so probably about 15 minutes of my show is actual talking total. If you just separated them, so I have the good fortune of having tons of content the whole show. I don't have to stop and have long conversations. That's more for my Saturday Night Selector, different show. We can get into that too much, do we?
We can.
But yeah, we can. And so I have that good fortune. But if a person was aspiring to get into a podcast or something, really have your content together. Like the Dudes and Beer show. I love that show. It's always something different. It's all over the place. It's all over the place, and that's what I like. I like it because it's like a variety show kind of. Like, what's this week?
Well, and the funny thing is the story I tell people, much like yours, Will, Dudes and Beer started out in a totally different place than what it is. Talking Sound even started out, and we're gonna be this year getting back into a lot more instructionals, things like that. We're doing video again, as you folks can see, and the main reason is I'm not on the road. When I was on the road day in, day out for 3 years straight, 4 years, it was hard for me to sit down and produce video. It was hard for me to sit down and work on these things and make sure that they looked right when I put them out. And whenever I came home for 10 days, I didn't want to work on it. I wanted to go out to the park with my kid, go out to dinner with my wife, maybe drive to Houston, see my fam, come over and hang out with you, things like that. So literally the time of COVID has allowed me. I didn't even have I've been making music for 20 years. I didn't have distribution for my music until COVID, when I had nothing but time on my hands to sit down and research how to find distribution.
Nice. College of hip hop again.
That's how, and I had interviewed them on this show, and we had been friends, and we were social media friends, and I saw their shout out like, hey, we're opening the floodgates to all artists. And we started talking, and then shortly after that, albums came out, and then they introduced me to you. But it was because of COVID and the time that I had to devote to the design and doing things and doing it right that made me go, okay, time to bring video back to Talking Sound. Oh, nice. And it really is about that, what you love and doing what you love, because for me, like I told people for years on the road, I just get paid to fly around and play with people's expensive toys. I don't know how there are curmudgeons in my industry. I get to play with technology for a living and literally play. Yeah. Sit there.
Disconnect, man. You're disconnected from the bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to deal with corporate shit, but it's you pretty much just go in there and you're just like the geek in the corner or whatever. No one really fucks with you. You're just kind of over there doing cool shit.
Yeah. They think a lot of folks think I feed magic elves in a box.
Wait a minute. You don't? Hold up.
Whoa. Wait.
I gotta go, dude. This interview's not working out. But
it really is that idea that we have to find what we're supposed to be doing. And once you find it, there's some effort behind it, but it's not work anymore. And like we were saying a while ago, for you to find somebody like the producer that you have found to be able to take, yes, honestly, some of that burden of production off of you, you know?
I mean, we complement each other because we're not afraid to we're not afraid to say, okay, I don't like that, or I like that, or don't like that. Like we not butt heads, but we get to a point where we're like, here's a thing, we gotta figure out, we're gonna go with this, and then it's like yes or no, and it's like, okay, then we gotta like plead our case kind of to each other. And I trust her. If you're gonna have somebody producing your show, and this goes to anything. If you have a manager, if you have a booking agent, if you have a producer, and you actually have these people in here to work with you and for you, then you got to let them work. You can't tell them, oh, nope, always be like, nope, whatever you're saying. You're not really, then you don't have a producer, you have an admin. You got to let your producer produce. So that's what I'm saying. I think we have a good dynamic here, and she comes with these themes, and we get them done. What we're trying to do is just make the show more and more interesting each week. It's our challenge, like the way we put our songs together, the theme. Back to what I said earlier, the Saturday Night Selector that I do that show every Saturday. It's a different show than my Waking Groove. Waking Groove, again, is that just it's a morning kind of a show thing, but there are people in the UK, it's afternoon. There are people in Japan, I don't know what times of day everyone are feeling, but the Saturday Night Selector is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're out here in Texas right now, and that's a fun show. We get a little loose on that show. We have to take some shots, and we have some beers and stuff. I wouldn't say it's a drunken show. We do get a little tipsy. We have some drinks, but I have a themed show, so all the songs are the show's driving itself, and this is where Shay shines the most. You know, you understand what I mean? Like, all this playlist is put together beforehand. Like, and I on my Waking Groove, I mean, people say, "Oh, great playlist today." I come in here, dude, blind every day. Like, I have no idea what I'm gonna play the first song, and then I just pick one. I let that song lead me into the next. Yeah. And that's just how I've always listened to music, especially as a DJ, because you can go any direction if your ears are open, I guess. You know, I'll go from James Taylor over to Lizzo. I don't care. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, so she thrives on that. We're working on having like factoids and like little segments, like not news necessarily, unless there was news. We're just kind of tweaking it right now. We're planning on launching a new, like an updated version of things, I guess. Oh, really? Yeah, it's not nothing major, man. These are little tweaks. They're it's just different ways you'll just be experiencing the show, is what I'm saying. The audio is not going to change, but there might be some added video or added camera angles or added, production stuff. Yeah. Just things, info, and more information in your face. And it's the fact that shows evolve. By the time that we met, Dudes and Beer had gone video, because I was home from COVID. Not that I had COVID, but all shows in the world were canceled, so I was not on the road out plying my trade, and I had time to put thought into what I was going to produce for video. I was like, I finally got time to go live to Facebook, to do all this stuff, and it became, what do I show on screen? What do I do? How do I do this? And to be able to show articles from it's one thing to talk with a guest about a declassified document during a topical discussion. It's another thing to be an audience listener or even viewer and see two people up on screen right now, like right now. And have you bust out the actual graphic of the document? Things like that. That's what I'm saying when I say level up. So if if you're doing a podcast, keep striving to make the show more palatable, I guess you could say, or more easily consumed. I'm not judging anyone's like subject matter, content. All I'm saying is, like, if you may think you're funnier than you are, you have to kind of shape the show. Not you personally, Chris, but you are funnier than you are. Actually, I wanted to give you that right now. You're welcome. Just you may think that you're funny, and you may go a little too long on certain jokes, and you don't know when to cut shit. You don't the timing is important. Things like that when you're dealing with things like that. Putting a show together. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes that story that you find fascinating, if you're doing a show about music, in my case, okay, in my experience, because I'm playing music. If I go too long talking about things, I start getting sick of my own voice. Put some damn Led Zeppelin on or something. To do something else. It's a music show, so I catch myself doing that. But I do like to engage, and you have to know when to back up. You have to know when you're running a little long, I guess, in the tooth. Not long in time, because you can go as long as you want with your show, but long in the tooth, man. You're just like, long in the tooth.
And it's the fact of being willing, like you said, working with that production team. You've got somebody that butts heads with you every once in a while.
Hell yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay. You
Rarely,
need somebody to keep you in check. Like, I remember I came back from speaking at Texas PodCon, and the whole drive back, I was thinking about this show. Like, I was crafting this show, and I had it. Like, it was crafted. I bought a website. I installed WordPress before. Like, that's how, like, when I decide it's not ready, fire, aim, like it's ready, let's make graphics. We know we need this. Let's go buy the domain that we found. Let's build a website. Like, I can do it all within a day. And by the time my wife got home, I had a website halfway built. And she was like, this is a great idea for a show, and you should definitely back burner it, because if anything, you could produce it for somebody else or do it
content
with
is king,
else.
man. You know as well as I do. If you record yourself and you have something, there's gonna be pieces of it. Real quick, though, I wanted to correct something. We don't necessarily butt heads, me and Shay. She challenges I allow her to. No, I allow her to produce. If you're gonna have somebody producing your own thing, you have to let them. Do some brush strokes too. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying is the balance have to be is willing really good. To back off. You have to be willing to back up.
I mostly do. If we can both plead our case, like, and really, honestly, we're right there. We just want a good show. Honestly, at the end of the day, we can't be too emotionally attached to the music that we're playing each song. We can't micro song it through a show. What we're trying to do is put together great shows. You know what I mean? So, we're trying to give people a good feel, and we're succeeding, man. Like, my numbers have gone up a lot. Like, in the last year. When I started, I had 60 followers, and this followers, I'm not trying to put a value on this. It's the same thing as a like, because a portion of them are just people who passed by and followed you. But the numbers had gone up. That's just in a year. I mean, almost a year, and a lot of those people stuck around, a lot of them. And we have a good core group of people that are with us on the Saturday Night Selector and Wake and Groove, and I'm just really grateful for them.
Yeah, it's been fantastic to see your show launch, grow, to see you get to the point where you are now, that your website and store is successful. It's nice to see that the work and effort that you put in comes back in reward. And the thing is, and this is what I tell everybody, this is what I told you, because you've been involved with promotion, you've done all that kind of stuff, and there is a formula to success. There is, and it's the fact that for every 1 hour in a studio per person involved, you got to spend minimum 3 hours promoting. Minimum.
There's also you gotta think when you're promoting something, especially when we were promoting parties. There's more than one wheel spinning.
That's right.
It's other people's business, so you all have to be handling your business. So when you're promoting yourself, there's certain aspects of what you're doing. You have to separate yourself from your artistic, whatever side, and look at it from a marketing standpoint. How am I going to get this out right? Or look at it from a production standpoint, or look at it. You got to break it down and give each piece of your project the attention it deserves. And if you can't, that's when you let people in, like producer Shay. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I could literally do this myself. We both know this, but our formula is working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love what she's doing, and I'm glad I brought her in. That was really that was a good move.
Yeah.
And she's been a blessing to the show. I absolutely love her.
What's the first thing you throw away in a project? Like when you see, if you didn't have Shay right now, and you were like, man, I got to focus.
I think
I got one facet of the gym that I need to just kind of let get dusty for a minute so that I can polish these three and make sure that they're right because they're part of this.
Yeah.
You know?
Her jumping on the show right away in January. She was there before that, in December and stuff, but she took on the producer role in January. So when she did that, the show got a little more traction. All the viewers that I've got since January are because of the work that she put in. It boils down to subtle little things that I had to have another set of eyes on what I was doing. You know what I mean? And she has great vision, and then we got a lot of things coming up. It's my show, but it's our show, so we have to make sure that we're both looking at the third thing, the thing that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we're trying to get there and put out a good product,
But without her and minus that, what would have been the first thing that you would have said, let's sideboard that so that we can move forward here?
It would just be I'd probably still be winging it, or I might have gotten to this point by now, solo by now, but being able to, or you're asking me like what duties did I hand off?
Well,
like,
what would you have just been like, okay, forget about that. In order to forge forward, I got to do this. What would you have just pushed off to the side?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. Everything I was doing, every piece of what I had, it might have, you're talking about like little pieces of my shows and stuff, or I don't know.
Well, I mean, be it like, you know what? I can't, like for me, I had a buddy of mine last night contact me about like, how do I upload this video to my Instagram page? And I'm like, I do not know, my man. I've got an Instagram account. I don't Insta. I don't know how to do that. That is not my thing. So I have just let it roll.
I feel like there was no tossing away of anything, but more things to do. Honestly, like, but see that it's a journey. It's a growth. Like you start seeing something, and let's say you're watching somebody else's show, and you're like, I like that. It could be something as simple as like on your talking sound screen, you got the EQ thing going up right there. That's cool. Like, maybe somebody would want that on their video, and then they'd see something else from another video, and you want to level up if you're serious about it. If you're not serious about it, and you're just a guy who's sitting in front of a basket of dirty laundry and a half-eaten sandwich all the time and don't have you're not trying to present yourself. You know what I mean?
My laundry's over there.
Mine's right under here. I can't.
It's on that side. That way you can't see it.
Yeah. I'm down to my last clean outfit, so I'm completely out now. That's how I like to do my laundry. I like to just let it run all the way out, and then just have a whole Saturday of just fucking washing shit. Yeah, that's my day. That's a great Saturday. I'm just kidding.
You hit the odometer on your car, like the odometer on your car, whenever the gas light comes on, so you can count the mileage till you really need gas.
Yeah.
One of
shout
those
out
things.
to Chrissy too. I'm trying to get some shots out there popping in my head. I don't know if I said them before. There's so many of them, man. There's so many waking groovers, and it's all love. Moto. I'm trying to get everybody in there. Man,
it's hard because once you start doing it, it's
J Strip.
It really, like you said, becomes a family. Even on our Dudes and Beer page, even on the Talking Sound group. The conversations that go on are like that. So, what before we let you go, what are you looking at next for Waking Groove?
So I just for last Saturday we did the last we had a series on Saturday that we had within the Saturday Night Selector called the Rock Retrospective that we did once a month. Me and a buddy of mine, Chris Thompson, would get on there and we just talk about rock music of a year or a decade. We just have kind of a specific focus, but we pulled that off the Saturday Night Selector because we felt like it was just kind of, a block in the middle of the flow of what that show was doing. Like me and Shay are trying to do something with Saturday Night Selector. You know what I mean? Like we have a path. So Chris and me and Shay, we all kind of agree. Let's move something. Let's move that to a different day. I got one more day of the month that I will be doing a show. Still got my Monday through Friday and my Saturday show, but I'm adding an extra Friday night. I think it's May. What's the May? May is next. Yeah. May 7th, I think that's a Friday. Is that correct? May 7th. Me and Chris are going to be doing a new show. We don't have the name yet. It's going to be all over the place with music, like really like all over the place, but kind of with a purpose. So we're going to have some fun and we're going to try some things out and grow a new show basically.
Nice.
So I've done Wake and Groove. So Wake and Groove is just going to keep growing. And as it grows naturally, I will always try to bring the best I can to the Wake and Groovers. Same with Saturday Night Selector. Saturday Night Selector is like my pet project. It always was from the very, very beginning. And Shay saw what was kind of where I was going with it, and we're just trying to tweak that a little bit and have different Saturday night shows coming up. Soon we're going to change the structure of the Saturday Night Selector a little bit, but yeah, that's about it, man. And it's all show related stuff. I'm not like going to buy a Lambo or anything like that. Yeah.
Good.
I'm gonna take up bonsai trees. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start cutting bonsai trees.
But I love the fact that you have taken this show, you've taken this idea, you have grown it, you have created a community behind it, and created a brand behind it at the same time. One that people are excited to be a part of, both in family and in brand. So, and the fact that you've done that within the span of 1 year, absolutely phenomenal. Kudos to you, man. You deserve to be on private phone calls with people like Mixcloud and stuff like that doing what you're doing. So,
well, thank you, man.
Keep doing what you're doing, my friend. Before we let you go, time for shameless self-promotion. Tell everybody where they can go to find the website, to find the store, to follow the show, to listen, to send money to Willie.
Well, WillLeeyum.com. WillLeeyum.com. Up at the top, there's tabs there. You can check out shows. That's the actual Mixcloud page, right? Oh, okay, you're in the store. I don't know where you are. Yeah, that's all just different stuff you can get. There's stickers in there, everything from stickers to cups to there's a beach towel, I think, in there too.
Yeah.
That was a funny one. It just seemed like it looked like a cool beach towel. Like, I don't know. I might lay on a beach with it one day. I don't know. Where is it? Oh, there's the new mask. Because you got to mask up, man.
Oh, yeah. I like that. That's sharp. You gotta mask up. It's more than important in our industry right now. So
yeah. There's the towel right there.
Oh, that's
there it
class.
Is.
I love it. I love it. Oh, man. Well,
but yeah, man. So that's it. And then all the tabs at the top are self-explanatory. You can get a hold of me through there. You can follow me through there. Shop, support. Yeah.
Great. So. Fantastic. Well, Will, thank you so much for taking the time, as always, just to sit back, talk, things like that. We always love having guests on that are passionate about what they do and try to share that with other people. And you have definitely done that with the Wake and Groove sessions. So
thank you, brother.
Hold the line while we close things out real quick. While you are online checking out WillLeeyum.com, make sure to stop on by the Talking Sound Show. That is where TalkingSoundShow.com. That is where you can find all the episodes. That's where you can find the industry news section That's where you can find the gear shop, all kinds of stuff. If you're looking for tools for the industry, stop on by, check that out. Of course, make sure to stop on by and check out everything over at HC Universal Network. Make sure to stop on by our...
Thank you for tuning in to this
Take
episode
care,
of the
everybody.
Talking Sound
Bye-bye.
Podcast. For more episodes, industry on Amazon Audible, Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, or your favorite podcast service. Get the latest Talking Sound videos on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Reach TV, or your Roku or Amazon Fire device with the APR TV app. Talking Sound is a proud member of the HC Universal Network family of podcasts. For more great shows and content, subscribe to hcuniversalnetwork.com today. Until next time, watch those meters, gig safely, and keep reaching for 11.
This is Talking Sound.